Welcome, class. Today in our lesson we're going to learn about common power tools. We're going to learn the proper names of the tools and the uses of the tools. Abby, will you read our standard for us today?
Utilize basic hand and power tools in a professional and safe manner.
Very good. Now remember, we talked about professionalism before. That means we do everything to the very best of our ability. And we're going to learn how to do everything safely also. Claire, will you read our essential question for us?
How can knowledge of basic hand and power tools usage benefit you?
All right, thank you, Claire. Now, one thing, that's what I want you to be thinking about today. Why are we learning what we're learning? Why do we need to know this? Why do we need to know the proper names and proper uses of the tools? All right, now class, the exercise we're going to do today, we're going to find out what you already know about these tools. So I've given you a list of the proper names for the tools that we have laid out. What I want you each to do is go around and place the name of the tool in front of the tool. Now, don't worry about what your classmates are doing. Just if you think that's the proper name for that tool, lay it on the desk in front of the tool. Go ahead now. Okay, that's fine. Okay, bring the extra slip you have. All right, thank you. Good job, girls. All right, students, you now have a slip of paper with all the proper names of the tools and 2 lines. What I want you to do as I explain the proper name and use of the tool, write down 2 facts that stand out to you, something that you probably already didn't know about the particular tool. Okay? The first tool here is the saber saw, and you both did a great job on selecting that as the proper name. Now with the saber saw, it's got a nice thin blade just to make curved and intricate cuts. Okay? The thing about the saber saw is it has a variable speed trigger, which means the harder I squeeze the trigger, the faster the blade goes. It also has a little button right here that's called a trigger lock. So if I depress the trigger and push this button, it locks the trigger in the on position, which means the saw continually runs. To disengage the trigger lock, I squeeze the trigger again. So this is your saber saw. Any questions on the saber saw?
No, sir.
Very good. All right, moving right along. All right. Now, I see one of you has selected the proper name. This is a powder actuated nailer. Okay. The reason it's called a powder actuated nailer is because of the little boosters right here it uses. These actually have gunpowder. It uses gunpowder to drive these pins into concrete or steel. Okay. Now, to use this tool, you must be certified. If you're working on a job site and using this tool, you'll have a certification card that says you received proper training to use this tool, because it does use gunpowder to drive the pins into the concrete or steel. Any questions about the powder actuated nailer? Okay. All right. Our next tool, very good. Both of you selected the correct name. This is the circular saw. Okay. Now the circular saw, if you remember in a previous lesson, we used to hand saw to cut the boards. Well, this is the electric version of the handsaw. It's made to do a job quickly and efficiently, okay? Now with the circular saw, it's called a circular saw because the blade is circular, okay? It's used to cut many different depths and such, okay? So it's designed on the job site to make the work go more quickly and efficiently. Remember how long it took you to cut through the 2x4 using the handsaw and all the work? This does it much more efficiently. Okay, so this is a circular saw. Any questions about the circular saw?
Nope.
All right, very good. All right, moving right along. All right, one of you got this one correct. This is a pneumatic nailer. Now, with tools, there are three types of power tools. We talked about the electric tools. Well, this is air powered, okay, which is called pneumatics, okay? Now, this is a pneumatic brad nailer, okay? It drives little small nails in. You connect it with an air hose, and it drives the nails in like such, okay? So, pneumatic nailer. All right. Any questions on pneumatic nailer?
Nope.
All right, good deal. All right, moving right over here, ladies. All right, neither one of you got this one right, but that's okay though, we're learning, okay? Now this one has a bunch of slang names, but the proper name for this one is called a reciprocating saw. Okay, the reason it's called a reciprocating saw because the blade that goes in here moves back and forth. It's like a first cousin to the saber saw, except it's used to do more aggressive type work. Where the saber saw does intricate work, this is for rough cutting and such. And I like to tell my classes, actually, if I put the right blade in here, I can cut a school bus in half with this saw. Okay, so it's more like a demolition type saw. Depending on the blade, depends on what you can cut in there. Okay, so reciprocating saw. Any questions on the reciprocating saw? Very good. All right. Now, one of you got this one right, one of you got it wrong. One of you selected DC drill, and one of you selected pistol grip drill. Now, when we talk about a DC power tool, that means it uses a battery, okay? Now, if you see on this one, it has a cord. Now, let me show you why it's called a pistol grip drill. Now, when I hold this drill like so, it looks just like a pistol in my hand. So it's referred to a pistol grip drill. This is an AC powered pistol grip drill. Now, remember this button that we looked at on the saber saw? This is your trigger lock. So if I squeeze the trigger and push the button, it locks the trigger in the on position where the drill continually runs. Now, our textbook recommends that we never use a trigger lock, and we'll talk more about that when we start using the tools. Now, this part of the drill is called the chuck. The chuck is what holds the bit. You can use this to drill holes into wood or steel, or you can put a Phillips type bit in there to insert screws into wood also. So this is a pistol grip drill. Remember, it's AC powered because it has a cord. Any questions on the drill?
No.
All right, our next one. All right, again, we've got the same thing. We got a DC drill and we got pistol grip. So now that we just learned this is a DC powered drill because it uses a battery, okay? So DC power tools use a battery and AC uses the power, okay? And of course this is an impact driver. It's the type of drill usually used for putting in screws and such as that. Any questions on the DC power drill?
Don't think so.
Very good. All right, now the next one is a great big old saw. One of you got compound miter, one of you got reciprocating saw as your answer. The correct answer is compound miter saw. Now the thing about the compound miter saw, let me open it up for you here a minute. Look at the size of the blade on this one. Okay? Now of all the tools that we've already talked about, which one most closely resembles the compound miter saw? Look around the ones we just looked at, which one closely resembles it?
This one?
Very good, the circular saw. So a compound miter saw is kind of like a big circular saw mounted on a stand. Okay? It's very versatile. It's used to cut lumber more efficiently even than the circular saw. Many times we will cut lumber with this instead of circular saw because it's more accurate and it's easier to use. It also cuts on miters and angles and such as that. So this is your compound miter saw. Okay, any questions on the compound miter saw?
I don't think so.
No questions? All right. Thank you. So you've got two facts or points that you learned on each tool, correct?
Correct.
Very good. Okay, class, I developed a game for you guys called Cahoots. That's where we're gonna review what you've learned today to see how much you remember about what I taught you today, and see how well you did as far as writing down what I taught you. Now, with Cahoots is as soon as it comes up, it's going to give you an access code. You'll enter that on your iPads, and it will connect you to the game. All right. As we go through, I will read you the question, and you'll select the right answer. All right, there's your game pin if you enter that in on your iPads. And you'll see your name appear on the screen. All right, I see you, Claire. All right, there's Eddie. All right. Now, this is time, so make sure you select the right answer. But if you watch, there's a countdown clock on here too. So if you don't select the right answer, it's an automatic error. All right, we have 18 questions. Everyone ready? All right, first one says, name the tool. All right, see the picture of the tool. And whichever one we said that one was.
Mr. Cutler, mine's not working.
Yep, that's part of technology. It should be back up for you though. Good job. Abby, is it still not connected? Just re-enter it, re-enter it. All right, name the tool again. I have another picture for you. Compound Microsoft. Good job, Abby. Is it working yet, Claire?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right. This tool uses boosters to drive pins into concrete or steel. Think about it. We talked about that one earlier. I showed you the boosters.
It's a tricky one.
It is. That's why you always have to read the question carefully. Just like on your exams that I give you guys. I don't do it to trick you. I do it to make sure that you guys are really taking time to read it. All right, Abby doing a great job. And we have a third partner. So. All right, 3 types of power tools. Okay.
Got a little tricky question.
All right. Abby's still in the lead. All right, name the tool again.
I like these.
All right, there's an easy one for you right there.
Oh yeah, I know this one. It's a little obvious.
All of them should be. All right, good job. Both of you got that one correct. All right, if a pneumatic nailer stops firing, you should do this. Make sure you read your questions carefully. All right, you should always disconnect there. Anytime a power tool, if something goes wrong, you always disconnect the power source, always. This is a small lever that is used to keep the tool on without holding the trigger. Trigger lock. Remember on the saber saw and then on the drill I showed you, if you squeeze the trigger and push the little button, it'll hold the trigger in the on position.
Oh.
Name the tool again. Saber saw.
That picture was.
Remember, saber saw and reciprocating saw were first cousins. Remember they?
Oh
they're very familiar.
yeah.
All right, before you plug any saw into the power source, make sure the blank. Read all 4 possibilities. Very good. Very good. Switches in the off position.
High five.
Good job, girls. All right, name the tool again.
Haha, that's a funny one. Aw, man.
All right. Next question. This saw has a small thin blade used to make intricate cuts. Small thin blade. Good job. Both of you got that one correct. All right, before using a pneumatic nailer for the first time, you should do this. Before you use a pneumatic nailer for the first time, you should do this. Good job, ladies.
Always read the manual.
Always read the manual first. All right, this holds the bit in the drill. Holds the bit in the drill. Oh, Chuck. Y'all remember Chuck, don't you?
Yeah, I remember Chuck.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
How could you forget about Chuck?
Like you
Abby's
said.
on a winning streak.
Good job, Abby. All right, name the tool again.
What? Oh,
Wow,
that's
there's
just a blank
there's
screen.
no picture on that one.
We just supposed to think of our own.
I bet it's
Go with
Cutler.
Power actuated.
Yeah. Yay!
Excellent. Good job, ladies.
That was a hard one.
It was. All right, another name the tool. Maybe we have a picture on this one. And we do.
Woohoo!
Good job, ladies. Pistol grip drill. A power miter saw combines a miter box with a blank. Which saw does it closely resemble?
Abby's doing great.
Abby did a very good
Come on,
job.
winning streak. 6 answers.
Good job. All right, name the tool.
That's an easy one.
Very good. DC drill. Very good, ladies. Remember, DC means it uses a battery. AC was it plugged into a receptacle. All right, this should be our last question. Before changing a blade or bit, you should do this. Excellent. All right, great job. All right, class, now that we're finishing up our lesson, let's go back to our essential question and let's address that. It says, how can knowledge of basic hand and power tools usage benefit you? Abby, how can power tool usage and proper names benefit you?
Well, knowing and learning more about these tools will help me stay safe when using them because I know how to turn them off properly and how to change blades and that kind of stuff.
Very good, Abby. What about it, Claire? What do you think? How can it
So-
benefit you?
If one day I was in a bind at like my house, once I get older and have a house, and something happens that goes wrong, I can use these tools to help get me out of this bind.
Very good, Claire. Now, tomorrow's lesson, we're actually going to start using the tools. So make sure when you come to class tomorrow, you come prepared. Remember we talked at the first year how to properly dress for class. We have to have closed-toed shoes on, no bagging. If we have long hair, we have to have it tied back and such. And of course, when we work in the shop and use the tools, we will always wear our PPEs as we've learned previously in the lessons. All right, any questions before we get started for tomorrow? No questions? Good deal. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.